Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. This is part 2 to our Embracing Your Awakening. So if you haven't seen the first video, it will be in the link, and the third video will also be in the link with this one. And so I do highly recommend you check out both. So this series is really, to me, I was very strongly drawn to do this reading. This chakra reading that we're about to go through, well, this is kind of it's a little bit different than the one I regularly do for personals, but it really was looking, to me, I really felt like, there was just such a call, for this personal awakening within all of our lives and what that really meant, to me and in life around us. And to me, this awakening is really the embracing of our authenticity. That is really, to me, what, the awakening is all about. So we're going to get right into it. I am outside, so if we are interrupted, I do apologize. That sometimes happens in my very busy world. I also cuss, so there's your warning. Okay, so I have already pulled our oracle cards. We have quite the reading that we're getting into, so to save time, I have pulled oracle cards out, and we are starting with the chakras, okay? We are working on, looking at the shadows of each of our chakras. We are all built up of 7 chakras, and they are places within our bodies that store certain energy. They can be balanced and functioning in a healthy manner, and they can also be imbalanced and very, kind of drained. And that is something, if you've never heard of it, Reiki, that deals directly with the chakras. And it is also something that I do practice, and I am certified in distance Reiki, as well as personal sessions. So if that is something that after watching this reading you would like to reach out to me, please do by all means. So let's get it really into this. So the first chakra that we're going to be discussing is our root chakra, okay? And just very much like its name, our root chakra is what really anchors us to our lives, okay? It's the root of who we are. It's the security in who we are and the stability within our lives. The root chakra is actually developed between the ages of birth and 7 is when our root chakra is pretty much mostly developed, and so oftentimes we can, looking back, we can have situations that maybe have happened within that those first 7 years of our lives that cause somewhat of instability, cause somewhat of a security rate, kind of a security-based kind of issue within our lives. And I mean, I'm not saying that it all has to happen before 7. No, that's not what I'm saying. I was literally just pointing out that that's as early as that can develop. All right, so what shadow energy is rooted within this chakra? And to me, look at this. The Angel of Love came out. And this was the card that came out, for yesterday's reading on what shadow energy needed to be addressed, And here it is. It comes out in our root, in our very base, and what shadow energy needed to be addressed here. And it was the Angel of Love again. Okay? This is the lack of security within love. That is what this is talking about. When the Angel of Love comes out as a shadow energy in your root chakra, it's the lack of security of love. And when we're talking this awakening, and embracing this awakening, that is a self-awakening, guys. This is self-love. This is self-worth, love of self. This is the rooted shadow, energy within this chakra. And where in your life has something come up that, has really questioned your love for yourself, What part of that, was, what does that look like in your life? What does that lack of self-love look like in your life? Because it is going to be different for all of us, for sure. But this is a huge issue for many of us, for the collective. It's this lack of love for self. It's this inability to even show up and love. Okay? What must I acknowledge that I am unable to change within this chakra was the pig spirit. And that's use your mind wisely. You see, and I really feel that the pig spirit came out here because the pig spirit was saying, there are so many things within our lives that they are beyond our forces. Okay, we are unable to control them. We can't, As humans, we are unable to control those things. But the one thing that we can control is our mind. The one thing that we actually have the ability to control is the use of our mind. And whether we put that use to a positive kind of way or we put it to destructive, self-harming ways. Okay? You must acknowledge this. You must acknowledge to be able to, if we are going through this self-awakening, acknowledgement of self, this has to be something that you need to address. You are the only one who can change your mindset, And if your mind is so made up and so focused on the fact of how much you dislike yourself, how unworthy you are, how you cannot be loved, whatever that bullshit is, okay? If your mind is constantly repeating that again and again and again, what do you think you are going to get from this? It's not going to be what you want it to be. I can promise you that. Because what you feed your mind is what you're ultimately feeding the universe. You see how that's really kind of important here? How can you take back your power in this chakra, despite the things you cannot change? You pulled 2 moon cards here, and the first one was the cardinal moon. Be bold and make the first move. Because nobody in this world can decide that it's time for change other than you. People can look at you and offer you support all day long, but until you actually step up to the plate and align yourself for change, there will not be change. You must be bold enough to make the first move for yourself. Meditate and contemplate. New moon in Pisces. And the Pisces are all about the emotions. They are all about the watery, They will lay it on you nice and thick. That is Pisces energy, To be open, to be emotional, to allow yourself to feel those things. And that is a huge part of this. How do you take back your power? First of all, it's showing up and it's being bold. And second of all, it's allowing yourself to feel. It's meditating. It's opening your heart up to how things have been, because you have to. In order to move forward, in order to heal ourselves, we have to be vulnerable. We have to. How can I use the challenges of my life to my advantage? And I loved these because you got the shapeshifter, which was transform. Transform and unveil your gifts. And the shapeshifter is all about having the ability to change. To change. Did you hear that? Right? The shapeshifter has the ability to change. And he changes according to what he needs to work on, to embrace, to move himself forward, whether in his journeys or in the hunts or whatever it may be, You have the ability to change here. You have the ability, no matter the kind of person you have been, you have the ability to shapeshift into a changed individual. And look at this. The she-wolf was the other card that came out. Okay? Unleash the wild within. Unleash the wild within. Wow, that's powerful. Look at this. On the bottom of the Ancestors deck, maybe I should have gone over that before, but on the bottom of this Ancestors deck was the Father Sky. And it says, trust in the unknown, and dream and journey. She-wolf was what I wanted to read here, though. The broom? Is it in the back room? I don't know then, sorry. She-wolf. Let your wild side up and out. Unleash your talents and your desires. You are being rewilded at this time, guided to reconnect with your rebellious heart, the part of you that likes to break boundaries and go beyond them completely. If you've been holding back on your hopes and dreams, you're being encouraged to chase after them now. Let the wolf energy within you help track down whatever direction you want to go in. And don't let any traps or hunters get in the way of your freedom or your growth. The life you want is here. You know, and that is, I love messages like that, but what a truth, right? Like when we are talking about, you know, the angel of love is the shadow energy here, and we are talking about you going forward and actually being brave enough not only to embrace the authentic you and the things that you love, but, you know, it is showing up to the things in your life that you want to be a part of. You know, that you want to actually like enjoy and have in your life. The dreams, the hopes, the adventures, you know, what that looks like to you, right? Look at this. The angel of love was clarified by the Two of Wands, the Ace of Wands, the Two of Swords, and the Nine of Pentacles. Because this angel of love is this, like this shadow energy, there's a need here for a change of direction. Okay, that's the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is talking about it's a change in direction. You know, a different way forward here. You know, where there has been self-sabotaging, now there must be self-love, right? And the Ace of Wands coming in behind this, because this is almost like the fiery inspiration that Spirit just kind of sends in. You know, and Spirit's like, okay, this is your spark. Okay, this is the idea that you need to focus on. Okay, yes, there's been blockages. Okay, there has been blockages. I get that. I acknowledge that, and probably a lot of blockages to your self-fulfillment, your self-abundance. But this change of direction and this spark of idea is overcoming this blockage. It's allowing you to actually open yourself up to the fulfillment, to the self-abundance, the self-appreciation, the self-fulfillment. Okay, the Nine of Pentacles. That is what the Nine of Pentacles is. It's about the self-fulfillment. It's about, you know, it's about embracing the self-love. Absolutely. And I feel like with the way that 2020 has gone, that's just the Ace of Wands. You know, the Ace of Wands was like, it is now or never. It is time to change your way of thinking here. Okay? It is time to embrace something very new. Be bold. Make that first move, okay? Meditate and contemplate. You need to feel this out. You need to really work through this. It's not going to be an easy thing. I'm not saying that it's going to be an easy thing, but it is definitely going to be something that is fulfilling, because it is time to unleash the wild within. I cannot stop looking at this card, the She-Wolf, right? Like these, I probably would say are like, the Shapeshifter is one of my favorite cards in this whole deck. I just love it. But I think the She-Wolf would probably be second. Unleash the wild within. Unleash that self-love. You know, unleash that need to really just like... Okay, so our Sacral Chakra, that is our second chakra. And your Sacral Chakra is talking about our creativities, our passions, our sexual... our sexuality, okay? That is what stems in our Sacral Chakra, okay? And the energy, the shadow energy that is rooted here was appreciation, you know? And I kind of found that to be, kind of interesting, you know, because I think sometimes, you know, we get so caught up in, I think it's so important to actually appreciate the passions that we do have in our lives. You know, even when the rest of the world is kind of going crazy and haywire, I think our appreciation, or our lack of appreciation here, you know, as this is a shadow energy, it's that lack of appreciation, you know, for the passion in our lives, for you know, the sexuality parts in our lives, you know, for our creativity. It's almost that lack of appreciation here. Oh, geez. The Nine of Wands, the Sun, and the Six of Swords. It's almost like that shadow energy is like that lack of appreciation of how far you've come. You know, the Nine of Wands is here. And look, See how these three kind of line up? Or the Nine of Wands is talking about, the ends of cycles, the ends of tough cycles, right? Things that you've really worked hard to overcome, to move forward from, right? The Sun is the fulfillment, but then look at this. The Six of Swords, it's that tough passageway. And it's almost this, I feel like as a shadow energy, it's this appreciation of the cycles that you have been through, the lessons that you have been through. Yes, okay, those lessons have brought sun, and fulfillment and and probably a lot of happiness, but at some point they, it was almost like the passage was just so overbearing that it's that lack of appreciation. We have to be able to be appreciative. No matter the journey and no matter how hard those lessons are, we still have to be able to show appreciation. Look at her dress is ripped. She's standing in a garden of thorns, but she is still showing appreciation for that beautiful little flower that she found. That probably has thorns on it, right? The sun is still shining. She is still appreciative in the acknowledgement that there's still something else here. There's still the potential here for her to have more, right? We must appreciate in order to bring more things into our life, in order to open ourselves up to the sunshine, okay? You have to appreciate the lessons that it has taken to get you to where you are. You do. You have to appreciate the good and the bad, the blessings and the hard times, okay? All right. What must we acknowledge that we cannot change, that we are unable to change within this chakra? And the frog spirit came out and it was clear of the clutter, and negativity happens in life, and the frog spirit is actually one who's like, what, bullshit happens. You just have to clear that space out, Don't worry about what all the other frogs are singing on their lily pads. Just find peace in yours, Look at that little orb that he has, right? You are unable to sometimes change the negativity that influences and comes into our lives. That's just one of the things that we, as humans and as people, as beings of free will, we are at the hands of negativity. We are. Okay, we are at the hands of other people's free will. And sometimes other people's choice of free will brings very negative emotions into our lives. Sometimes our own choices of free will bring very negative emotions and energies into our lives, right? But there's a need here to clear that out. Okay, there's a need here. You do not need to, hold tight to all of the things in your life that you cannot, that negativity. No. Clear out the clutter. Okay? Clear out your space. Allow yourself, that includes friend circles, whatever the fuck is bearing on you and making you feel claustrophobic within this life, within this negativity. Okay? Clear it out. You don't need that. You don't need that kind of energy in your zone, okay? You don't. Look at this. Step out of your comfort zone. How can you take back your power in your sacral chakra is to step out of your comfort zone, to open yourself up to a new direction. This is the North Node, and we have a South Node and our North Node. They're part of our natal charts. And our North Nodes are the signs that we are, the characteristics of our beings that we are kind of here to almost embrace, I am a Libra South Node, and so therefore I am an Aries North Node. And there's a lot of things about the Aries characteristics that I am embracing in this life, that I am learning to embrace in this life. I have to step out of my comfort zone very much so to embrace anything Aries, as I am a Libra and would prefer just to, wait it out and be patient and contemplate. But step out of your comfort zone. That's how you take this power back. That's how you take this power back in your creativity, in your passion, okay? You step out of your comfort zone. You clear your mind space. You clear your living space. You remove the negativity, the people who are going to hold you down, the people who are going to make you feel small, okay? Clear out the energy of not being appreciative and open yourself up to the light that you've had. Open yourself up to the appreciation of the good things and the lessons that you've been through. Okay? Because those are part of it, right? Those are a huge part of this growing step. How can you use these challenges, to your advantage? And you got the medicine guardian here. And the medicine guardian is open to the healing information. And there is a lot of healing information going around right now. Be open to healing information. Listen to what is coming up within you and what is being shared within you by trust, and what is being shared with you by trustworthy others in your life. Pay attention to healing information. You are being exposed to information and insights that will have a dramatic healing effect upon your life. If you are working through something mentally or emotionally, know that there are spiritual energies supporting your healing. If you are working through something that is physically challenging, pay particular attention to information that's coming to you that feels inspired, insightful, and warm. It will be supportive of your wellness. Your angels are here to remind you that your natural state is one of wholeness, and you are on the road to revealing that wholeness once more. Your angels are here to remind you that your natural state is one of wholeness, and that you are on the road to revealing that wholeness once more. Absolutely. And that's so cool that wholeness comes into that sacral chakra, because, when we're talking about our passions and we're talking about our, sexuality and our creativity, those are things that we are often very vulnerable in, right? That's just a place of vulnerability. Those are very vulnerable kind of situations or whatever you want to call them, but those are very vulnerable spots of our lives. And I feel like this wholeness to some, is going to come with that acknowledgement of appreciation for yourself, for your creativity, for your sexuality, for the things, and I can say this, as a past, I'm in an awesome relationship now, a really solid relationship now, but there have been many relationships in the past that have taken from me. My sacral chakra was one that was massively off until I did a lot of personal work with it. And it was massively off because sexually I gave myself to so many people. That just made me sound like a whore. Not a whore. I don't mean like that. But I gave myself to a lot of people, and I gave my wholeness to a lot of people. I sold myself short, to appease others, and I feel like for me, this sacral chakra was a huge one for me to heal personally, because my creativity and my passion for life all laid in within this, and within that lack of feeling whole. Within that lack of my wholeness feeling very tainted and miscued, right? Like that played over very dramatically into the rest of my life, into where I showed up passionately in the rest of my life, right? I think sometimes in our society, we have really allowed our sexuality to be something more of just a token, right? And not something that is really, that we link to ourselves as wholeness. And that is us in our most vulnerable state, and so to really be able to actually set back and acknowledge and be like, okay, so maybe I did this and this and this, but I can still be whole within this. That's a huge healing right there. There is healing information. Okay. It's for you. All right. Our solar plexus chakra, our last one that we're doing in this reading. And the energy that we got for this, on the shadow energy that is rooted within this chakra, was the walking away. Okay, and our solar plexus is talking about our spiritual beings, you know. Our solar plexus is that light. It kind of like shines and radiates right from the center of your belly almost. And that is who you are. That is the light within inside you, you know. Your solar plexus is that, it's that gut intuition, okay? It is that spiritual being that you are. That is your solar plexus, you know. And then walking away here, that energy. What's the shadow? What is this? Can you clarify that? I think that's... Hi, guys. Yeah, the King of Swords. Look at that. It's the clarity. Look at that. King of Swords and the Five of Cups. Wow. When this is talking about, you know, when we're talking about a shadow root energy, and this walking away is what came out, you know, look at here. She's walking away from this garden and she's walking into sunshine. Look at the fireflies that are actually like, it's not even a firefly. That's a butterfly. Okay? The transformation is illuminated before her. And that's where she's moving to. Okay? And these cards came out to clarify it. Look at that. The King of Swords and the Five of Cups. It's the clarity here. It's the clarity that yes, there has been pains in life. That yes, there has been a lot of hardships and heartbreaking moments in life. Life is that. Okay? I will definitely say that. Life is full of pains. Okay? And we don't get just to go through life and not have any of those pains. No. Life has pains. But look here. Look how she's actually dumping the pain of this last cup out. Okay? She's crying, she's shedding, you know, she's releasing whatever it is. Like, look at. But she's actually dumping the pain out here. She's dumping the rest of that cup out. And these ones are already spilt over here. But she's got this cup sitting behind her that is full of colorful magic. The Five of Cups is the acknowledgement that pain has happened. Okay, there has been heartache. There has been hard times. But that you do not need to carry the suffering forward. That the suffering of that pain is not something that we need to go forward with every day. There is a lesson to be learned even within that pain, that when we actually sit with ourselves, when we open ourselves up to the awakening, when we open ourselves up to accepting the self-love, to accepting the appreciation of the life that we have lived, to accepting the appreciation even of the lessons that we have been given to live. You know, no matter how shitty those lessons are, whether it was people that have been in our lives that are no longer in our lives, and that whole, you know, for me, mine was death. Okay, so that one was a painful lesson, right? That one was a horrible lesson. And I carried the suffering of that loss for so freaking long, so long. And the pain of that loss is still there. That pain of that loss is never going to go away. I wake up every day and I miss the fucking shit out of him every single day, you know? And sometimes that pain can become very real. And there are days where I still break down because of it, you know? But the suffering of that pain no longer is what I carry forward in my life. Because I acknowledge that I needed that lesson. I acknowledge that our lives went the way they did because our souls made that contract before we even arrived. My soul knew that it was going to lose him long before it even happened. Truthfully, I had nightmares about the accident weeks before it even happened. Okay? My soul truthfully knew that it was coming here for that lesson. The suffering of that lesson was something that I chose to take on for the next many years. And, you know, and whether I didn't choose to take on the suffering, I just didn't know. You know, I didn't know that there was a way to move myself forward yet. That was part of my growth. That was part of my process, right? And that process has to happen within all of our lives. You know, no matter the pain, no matter the situation, it's the clarity here that we do not need. We can walk away from the suffering. Okay? We do not need to keep ourselves in a small, limited kind of place due to any sort of suffering of our past. And mine is death, but that doesn't mean, you know, we have all been through emotionally hard times in our lives. You know, that does not mean that death has to be the emotional suffering that you took. Abuse, childhood abuse, you know, partner abuse, whatever it is, right? Breakups, hard relationships, right? It's just a tough go. Feeling unappreciative, you know? Shitty parents, I don't know, like, right? But there's this clarity here, you know? That's the King of Swords. The King of Swords brings so much clarity. And he's solid, okay? He gets it. He's seen a lot of hard shit. He lives on the top of the mountaintop, for Christ's sake, right? Like, he has been through it all. He gets it. He has felt this sorrow, this 5 of Cups, okay? He has. He knows what that's all about. But he has the clarity to see past that. He has the clarity to know that he needed to walk away from the suffering to embrace the new life. Oh, I love this one. What you must acknowledge that you are unable to change here. The koala spirit. Spirit has a plan. And this is sometimes one of the hardest things for us to acknowledge. Okay? That no matter what we are going through, no matter how heartbreaking it has been, okay, you must acknowledge that Spirit has a plan and you cannot change that. You know? I'm going to pull some tarot for this one too, actually. Look at that. The moon. Spirit has a plan, and the moon was what clarified it. It's the need to surrender. You know? When we open ourselves up and actually surrender to the divine, we are able to embrace our journeys a hell of a lot easier. And we are unable to change the fact that Spirit has a plan. And that doesn't mean that your plan is written in stone. It doesn't. But it means that it will go in the timing of the divine. It means that the plan is far bigger than what you can see. So no matter how much you try to warp and manipulate and change the plan for your benefit, that until you actually surrender over to the divine, until you allow the divine to actually be like, no, this is my plan and I'm going to work this, you know, divine, work this in my life, you know, apply these things, change my life the way you need to, you know, until you put yourself in that state, my friends, until you can actually acknowledge the fact that you are unable to change so much. So embrace it. Surrender to the divine, surrender to the higher. It's not surrendering to just, you know, some phantom like, oh, well, this is just, I'm just, you know, my destiny is written. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying there's a need here to actually embrace the Spirit. There is a need here to actually embrace a higher so that you are able to understand and really take the lessons and take the journey that you have already lived and apply it, put it into heart. And it won't hurt so bad when you acknowledge that there is a master plan to all of this. There is a higher hand guiding and working, you know, within the realms that I cannot see. It's the trust in that. It's the trust in that divine. You're unable to change that. You are unable to change Spirit's power here. You really are. So surrender to it. Open your heart up to it so that you can follow your intuition, so that you can actually move yourself down your authentic road, your authentic journey, right? Because when we're talking about embracing our awakening and embracing our authenticity, you know, you are unable to change how wonderful you have been made. You came here with a purpose. Okay? And not just for a purpose, but with a purpose. Okay? You were no accident. Spirit has always had a plan for you long before you even arrived in your earthly form. You are unable to change that. You are unable to change the love that He has for you because it is massive. It is beyond what you can comprehend. How do you take back your power here? Well, a fiery climax approaches. Okay, the full moon in Aries here. Oh shit, we're not taking half the deck. Give me, no. Two of Cups, Four of Cups. Look at that. A fiery climax approaches, and then it was the Two of Cups and the Four of Cups. It's this blending. It's almost like Spirit's like, I'm ready to blend the energy. Okay? Don't worry about the cups that have been spilt in your life, because Spirit has offered you one that is much more magical than anything you could have possibly ever imagined. There is a need here to embrace the higher. There is the need here to go forward and blend your energy with the energy of the higher. Because you have the ability here to really change your life. You have the ability here to really spark newness. And how can you use this to your advantage? Well, the traveler, okay, move in a new direction. And the shaman, trust in higher forces. Right? Love it. Traveler, move in a new direction. Welcome any to opportunities to travel, either to the outer world or to the inner worlds. The road you are on may be a road less traveled, but this journey is going to be highly beneficial for your emotional and spiritual growth. If it isn't about covering outer distances, it's about covering distance within, and you will be evolving every single moment of it. Remember to keep things simple and to lighten your load, because that will make your journey more enjoyable. You are also being encouraged to see how far you've come and how you have grown and how you've really grown as a person, because this recognition will support you in going even further. And there's a good chance that along the way, you'll make new friends who will become companions for a lifetime. Wow. And the shaman. Trust in higher forces. Trust in your angels, guides, and ancestors. If you have given your power away, claim it back. There are spiritual allies working in your favor, and their miracles will unfold more easily when you move into your state of trust. So call back your power and stop allowing external forces to divert you from the miracles you deserve. Hand over all your concerns to your spiritual allies. When you do so, you will allow them to send you intuitive guidance and messages that will allow you to correct this situation and come out on top. The Shaman card also shows that you have a shamanic potential to move between the realms and connect with your guides in an extremely personal way. Wow, isn't that beautiful? Huh. Wow. Well, that has been a beautiful reading, guys. The root and the sacral and the solar plex. Our next step is going to be our heart chakra, our throat chakra, our third eye, and our crown chakra. That will be part 3 to this reading. Yeah, we are. We're going to take some last guidance here. 6 of cup, 6 of water. It's time for some self-reflection here, guys. Okay? It's time for self-reflection, for allowing yourself to really, connect to your emotional and spiritual side here. The Queen of Water, okay? 6 of water and the Queen of Water. There's a need here for deep reflection, okay? To see beyond the veils, to see beyond the 3D. There's a lot of energies that need to be addressed. And this isn't, the awakening isn't just a little, flimsy kind of process. No, this is a big one, and I acknowledge that. But you have so much ability here to change. There's so much hope here. You are never alone. Nothing is yet set in stone. Okay? Don't let pride get in your way. All right. Well, I cannot wait to see you in part 2. That will be tomorrow. And unless, you're not watching it this week, and in which case it'll be linked right after this video. All right, guys. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye now.